Transformers One. The movie where Megatron and Optimus Prime are best friends, and they show you the history of how they became enemies.
And it's more than meets the eye.
Chris Hemsworth, Thor as Optimus Prime, about two mining Transformers who end up becoming Optimus and Megatron, and how the rift between them comes out.
I don't remember if he ever said, he's a friend from work.
No, I don't think that's in there.
No.
I will say that this movie was extremely enjoyable. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it, even though it's an animated movie. I think it worked well as an animated movie, and I had a lot of reservations because I'm just so used to Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime's voice that when I hear Chris Hemsworth, I'm like, oh, I don't think it's going to be the same. It's going to be goofy.
You mean
and there is a lot of humor in this movie, and Optimus Prime is not as serious as he is in everything else that you see Optimus, like anytime any other iteration of Optimus Prime. But it worked.
It's working.
I forgot it was Chris Hemsworth at a certain point, and
you can't really tell it's his voice.
I enjoy it
as he becomes Optimus. It just kind of his voice feels like it does change.
It's still pretty weak to the original.
I mean, he's not gonna be
Optimus voice.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, but he's trying his best, but also not pretending to be Peter Cullen.
Yeah,
that's the thing. He's not mimicking him. He's still using his own Chris Hemsworth voice, but he's not trying to just copy what Peter Cullen did. I enjoyed that. Brian Tyree Henry. I'm gonna say this from working in Spider-Man, from Bullet Train, from all the other movies he's done. This guy has chemistry. Godzilla and Kong. This guy has a lot of chemistry. He has great chemistry with everyone he works with, because I really did enjoy the relationship between Optimus and Megatron, or in the case of in the movie, Orion Pax and D16, right? Their chemistry as those two characters really worked, and I think you attribute that to Brian Tyree Henry. Like he's a great actor, even voiceover. He brings something with characters. He works with everyone, and he does a good job.
Yeah,
you can see the chemistry he builds with other people.
Great emotions too. Not like even like Chris Hemsworth. Like he's just very the same throughout the whole.
Yeah,
the range that what's his name has.
Brian Tyree Henry
is on BTH.
Yeah, like the range, and like this movie also gives us Scarlett Johansson as Alita. I think that was her name, Alita. Another one of the Transformers, and Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee, which I thought was like, okay, I'm just so used to having so many movies where Bumblebee doesn't speak, where in a movie where he doesn't stop speaking, and he's the comic relief, like big time comic relief, and they play him off.
He always is.
Yeah, and they play him off as kind of goofy and dumb and like still like very young. It worked. The jokes worked with
Michelangelo. Very Michelangelo.
Yeah. He did come in as the comic relief, because you have the leader in Orion Pax. You have the conflicted one with Megatron, and you have Alita who is essentially like, she's also better than Orion Pax, but she's just very straightforward, like only does one thing. She has no hope for things. But I like the group that they got together for this movie. John Hamm as Sentinel Prime, Alpha Trion with Lawrence Fishburne. The movie starts off with Lawrence Fishburne's voiceover.
Well, right? his voice lends himself to being robotic and menacing at the same time.
Who's
Lawrence Fishburne?
But he's not a menace.
No, I know, but his voice, he has that kind of voice where like
to society.
It blends to kind of like Thank you.
You can tell it's Lawrence Fishburne. That's the thing. He has a distinct voice where you knew. I think who I think would have been a greater voice is Alpha Trion.
Oh, Sam Jackson.
The late great
James Earl Jones.
I think he would have done a great job. That deep voice that he would have had would have.
You've grown a mustache. Sorry.
And but yeah, this movie is really enjoyable, from the animation style to the story, to the characters. It's not a long movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
No.
The action sequences, you get Steve Buscemi as Starscream, and they show how Starscream gets his voice. Because I'm just so used to Starscream having that screechy voice, and they kind of they show you how that happens. You get the original voice of Soundwave and Shockwave. You get all those guys coming back in this movie. There's a lot of Transformers, and again, they're not. I don't think it's up until the end of the movie that they're referred to as Autobots, right? Because I don't think they refer to them as Autobots at the beginning.
They didn't exist yet.
They don't even say Decepticons either.
No Decepticons, but the Decepticon logo it shows up, right? It is there.
But that logo is not a Decepticon. It's another Prime.
It's
Megatronus
Prime. Megatronus Prime. That's his logo, and that's who Megatron or D16.
I think that name.
That's who he models his. That's who he looks up to.
You know how I am with names.
Yeah, and that's who he looks up to. Megatronus Prime, and when Orion Pax is finally gifted his name of Optimus Prime, he's gifted the name, but Megatron takes the name. See, that's the big difference. That's the big difference between those. You see the big difference, the big change between both of them. One is disposed to destruction and wants to destroy. He wants to destroy. Megatron wants to destroy, whereas Optimus wants to. He brings in hope, and he wants to save. He wants to free. He wants to give everyone a chance, right? That's that big difference. And they showed from the beginning that he has that Optimus or Orion Pax has that hope, and he's willing to do whatever for his friends.
It's like Professor Xavier, wanting to create peace through understanding, and the other wants peace through war.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing. This movie is not breaking ground on any new kind of storytelling.
Yeah, it's very familiar.
It's giving us the same stuff we've seen. Oh, two best friends that oppose each other. Like at the end of the movie, they become mortal enemies. We've seen that before, but it works in this movie. It works, and it's executed.
Yeah,
in
very well done.
In a really fun manner, and the animation is great in it. And it all of it works. All characters, all voice actors, there's little hints of there's little Easter eggs of other things in this movie. Pacing and all that, I think it was paced fine. There was no low point in this movie. Yeah.
You're not gonna get bored. No.
And
it was I thought it was very patriotic too. I don't know if you noticed that.
A little bit.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me also like of Independence Day, like when like at the end when Bill Pullman is doing that speech. I don't know.
No, this is where we don't land up in a frog.
We will not go quietly into the night.
That one.
Yeah,
I
thought it was very like patriotic.
Yeah,
I mean, Optimus is also wearing that red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. And again, I will say this, that you'll take the kids to see this movie. They'll enjoy it for the animation, the colors, and all this stuff. There's a lot of deeper stuff in the writing, right? Like the way, in the tones that they talk, and it is a darker movie for kids. At least I would say, because there's a lot of death in this movie, and it's rarely in an animated movie where you hear somebody says, "I want to kill him," like literally says the words, "I want to kill him."
Kill him
with a knife.
Yeah, I want to stab him. Stabby time. But I'm gonna say that this movie is geared towards, it's for everyone. That has something for everybody, because this is a good movie with a good story, with good writing, good acting, and it's enjoyable for adults, as I'm pretty sure it will be for kids, because this was really well done. And I was surprised because when I first heard about Transformers 1, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, I'm like, they're gonna take this like Mutant Mayhem, like Ninja Turtles. You can't really put Ninja Turtles and Transformers in the same league, because they're just kind of they're two different types of stories. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. This is not gonna be good. I didn't have big hopes for it, and I was pleasantly surprised on how good this movie was.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a must watch, actually.
Yeah, this is a movie you have to watch in theaters. Yeah,
I'm curious how the next, if they continue these stories, how it's gonna play out. If the
technically,
voice is gonna deepen, if not, no.
technically, you could argue that this is prequel to all the other Transformers live action movies that came out, because this has no connection to all the other ones, but it is a prequel. It takes place all solely in Cybertron.
Which live actions you talking about though?
The Shia LaBeouf. Whoa, what? Oh, how many? Oh wow. What
Okay,
other live action Transformers movies
No,
are there?
Bumblebee is different than
No,
those movies.
but it's still in the Transformers universe.
Mm,
His voice is damaged in the first
That's what
the
I'm saying, yeah.
Shia LaBeouf one.
Yeah, and you can argue that Optimus Prime just got older and his voice became the Peter Cullen voice.
He started smoking.
Yeah.
Maybe a little whiskey here and there because
It's
stressful.
Life's hard. Life's hard to be a Prime.
yeah, that's
the
hard.
pressure kicks in. You know?
Mhm.
Your premature ejaculator is crazy.
He's been married 3 years. Elite is a pain.
Yeah, it's done. So forget it. You got to pay the check on the 1st and the 15th.
Roll out.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I would say
we'll roll out. Let's go.
But I would say that this. I would argue that this feels like it's just a prequel to all of those movies.
Yeah, I'd like to see the destruction of Cybertron. Why not?
Yeah, I would see where this would lead to that
Yeah.
eventually connects to the live action ones, right? I think this is a really well done movie. I would see a sequel 100% if it's with the same writing team, all that stuff. It worked where I thought it wasn't originally going to work. And I would recommend going to watch it. I highly recommend watching this movie in theaters.
And I don't like rating movies, but for me, like if I can rewatch it, it's good, and I could rewatch this again.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that you don't catch that you could catch on rewatches.
Yeah.
And I'll probably end up seeing this again because it was that enjoyable, and it flew under the radar. I didn't think it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be cheesy and dumb, and it wasn't.
No,
that's what I liked about it.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. On that note, you guys like and subscribe. Check out the app. Check out Transformers 1. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Vinny.
Dazzy.
Nana.
We'll see you guys next time.
Roll out.